What's going on, everybody? Super excited to announce another member of the STP 1200 Club, our family over at P's and Q's Pickup, your local junk removal specialist, your one-stop shop when it comes to getting rid of things you don't want or need. We take just about anything, including furniture, appliances, trash, construction debris, and more. We prioritize eco-friendly disposal practices as we sort through everything in order to keep as much out of the landfill as possible. But yeah, we recycle and donate what we can and properly dispose of the rest. We offer volume-based, flexible pricing options and can do anything from a single item to a full property clean out. Give us a call or shoot us a message at 615-995-9881 to schedule your free, no obligation estimate today. Huge shout out to the team at P's and Q's Pickup, Matthew, Pookie, and Haley. We greatly appreciate y'all. Super excited to have y'all as members of the 1200 Club. Y'all be sure to stay tuned for some great content from these folks. Their social media game's already on point, but excited to have them in studio utilizing the benefits of the 1200 Club. Huge shout out again to P's and Q's Pickup. Be sure to check them out. Just Google P's and Q's Pickup and you will find the best junk removal specialist here in Middle Tennessee. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spread the Positive podcast. Got another STP 1200 Club member spotlight. These are my new favorite things because we're really pushing this 1200 Club, and it means so much to have notable people in the community putting their names on these shows and supporting the STP network as a whole. So without further ado, I got my guy, Mr. Sean Moran with Red Barn Financial with us today. How are you, sir?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm great, man. We have crossed paths for years now here in Murfreesboro. You have hit the ground running on the networking scene, really diving into the community, doing a lot. President of BIB now. Shout out to Believers in Business. Always got to give a plug for BIB. We meet every Thursday, 7:30 a.m. at Cedar Glade Brews. Always looking for visitors and new members. So please be sure to check out Believers in Business, faith-based business leaders coming together to network, share referrals, and just connect and be in a godly space on a Thursday morning. It's a great way to start your Thursday regardless. So be sure to check it out. And Sean is our fearless leader these days and doing an amazing job with that. So always got to give a little plug for BIB when I'm able to. And just wanted to get that out there real quick. But Sean, you're familiar with the format of the show. This is, I say it a lot. This one's definitely overdue as well. But I always like to take it back to young Sean, early passions, as much or as little of childhood as you want to share, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Yeah, I grew up in New Jersey in a family of 3 brothers and a sister, and my dad was kind of the middle class. He worked for what's Verizon now, but he would climb the telephone poles and fix the wiring and put a telephone jack in your house, which obviously everybody still wants now, right?
Right.
But so that was kind of the thing. And so, we had what we needed, but not always our wants. And my mom was a really good person with money. She's like, she always says she can stretch a dollar. Nice. And, she just did smart things with money, and she taught us those things. And one of the things that she always said is, I don't know where she got this expression or heard this, but it was money once spoke, and it said, "He who minds me, I'll mind." And so, basically the idea is that if you take care of your money and use it properly, then, it's going to be there for you when you need it. And I think that's probably part of how I took, that and end up in finance and becoming a financial advisor over time. So.
Wow, man, that's deep. That's beautiful. Say that one more time. If you mind your money, the money will mind you.
So she said it was money once spoke and said,
there you go.
"He who minds me, I'll mind." So if you take care of money, and she was Irish, my grandmother and grandfather came over from Ireland, so it's probably maybe not the English that we speak in that way, but that was the quote. So where she got it, I don't know, but she said that all the time, and
it stuck with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely stuck with you, man. That's awesome. Financial planning and being smart with your money was something really ingrained early on, huh?
Yeah.
That's
and,
awesome.
And, sometimes when you don't have, everything that you want, it's like, well, here's how you can make this work. And then also the delay of gratification.
There you go.
Nowadays we live in the world of, you deserve it, you work hard, you should get it.
Sure.
And it's not well, maybe you do, but unfortunately you don't have the financial wherewithal to do it, then you probably shouldn't.
Right. Spoken like a true financial advisor. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So that's childhood. Just early on, or just talk to me, like, what was high school like? Where'd you go to school? All that.
Yeah. So I grew up in New Jersey, so I spent, most of my life until like 34 or 35. Then we moved to Virginia for a few years. But yeah, I was just kind of your average, middle of the road guy. Like I don't know if I could say I knew what group I fit into for sure. I guess probably a lot of high school kids are that, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
I don't think I really figured out, who I was and where I was going until college.
Sure.
And then even more so after. But it's kind of funny. You always hear people say like, "Oh, high school were the best years." I don't know if I could say that, and I think it's kind of disappointing if you're, 30, 40, 50 years old. Like high school is my best years. I think there's more in life to want to have more than that beyond high school. So
I love that.
yeah, I think for me it was good years. I learned a lot of stuff, but I think things
Definitely
got better
didn't
and better and better.
Didn't peak in high school.
Wasn't my peak. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, definitely not.
That's
So,
great. No, I feel that. I really loved high school, and they were great years. But yeah, I totally agree. There's definitely more to it, and when people, it's always in the movies. It seems like it's like these are the best years of our lives, and to a certain degree, there's some very formidable times, and definitely had some great times. But yeah, I totally agree. We if we truly peaked in high school, we're leaving quite a bit on the table. So
no question.
So where'd you go to school?
So high school was in New Jersey, in Island, New Jersey, a town called John F. Kennedy High School. It was actually the first high school in the country named John F. Kennedy High School.
Wow.
Because it was supposed to be Island High School, and then John F. Kennedy was shot, and so they changed the name as they were about to open it.
Wow.
So yeah, as I understand, it was the first one. College, I went to York College of Pennsylvania, obviously a well-known school. Everybody knows about that. Like New York College?
Yep.
Like no, York College of Pennsylvania. And then I have a master's in tax from Fairleigh Dickinson University,
Okay.
which put people finally like, oh, I heard of them because I think they were in the tournament last year,
Made one of
which
those runs.
normally doesn't happen. So
That's
but
awesome.
it was definitely a solid school in New Jersey for taxation, and so
Nice.
that's my background, accounting and tax.
Man, God bless you.
Yeah.
Those were the hardest classes for me in college. My dad was a CPA, and I called him after the first accounting class I took. I was like, "How did you do this for 30 years?" It blew my mind. But so taxation and accounting out the gate. Talk to me about that. What were some of the early jobs? How was that? Like, what did you learn? All that.
Yeah, so my early jobs were in corporate tax. So a lot of people in tax will start out at a public accounting firm, a CPA firm, or that kind of thing. But my career kind of took me a little bit of different way. And so my first tax job was working for American Standard.
Oh wow.
And so I felt grateful that these guys gave me a chance, and kind of like I've done my own taxes. I guess I could do this. Right?
Sure.
So they brought me on.
Different.
Yeah. So throughout my 15-year career, you always say like, oh, I'm in tax, and people are like, oh, this time of year, February, March, like, oh, you got to be really busy. And in the corporate world, it's not, because everybody files an extension. So you usually file in September and October. So, which means that you're busy during the summer, and you don't get to really enjoy your summer as much. But I did that for 15 years, and so a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and then the latter part of my tax career was at one of the big four firms.
Wow.
And so after 3 years of doing that, I kind of felt like, well, this is kind of a sales type of role. It's not just tax, right? It's not just tax and accounting. It's going out and selling tax and accounting services. So I said, well, if I'm going to have to be a salesperson, I'd rather sell something that is going to help people.
Sure.
And so that was kind of started on my path toward financial advisory. It was something I always wanted to do, because I was kind of my parents' financial advisor, even when I wasn't a financial advisor.
Right.
And so, when I saw that path open up, I was like, man, this is what I always wanted to do. And so
that's been, you've known kind of your whole life, really? Like is that fair to say?
Well, I guess I would say is what I would tell people is that when I was in tax, I felt like I'm stuck. Not super stuck, but a lot of times people will do something, they feel stuck in like,
Sure.
well, this is what I'm good at. This is the only thing I can do. You start telling yourself like, well, what else is there that you could possibly do? And I would say, don't just quit your job and go off and do something else, right? But if you believe like, hey, this isn't really fulfilling me, find the thing that you really are passionate about.
Yeah.
And for me, I'd rather help small businesses and families secure their financial future than
Right.
help a big corporation save billions of dollars in taxes.
Fair enough.
So that kind of prompted the change, and of course, getting married, having children,
Sure.
and being in a public accounting role where it's like, work-life balance means in a lot of corporate jobs is work and leave your life hanging in the balance. And
Sure.
I didn't want to do that, so kind of having that balance now, I just really and being able to help people, families,
Yeah.
like real people, not just corporations.
Yeah.
It's just I'm passionate about that. I
Yeah.
love it.
I've heard you at a lot of different networking events speak about your passion for this, and it's super apparent that it's deep rooted in something. It's not, it's not going anywhere. You are in here. This is probably what you're going to do till you hang it up. And I've always really appreciated that because, I feel like there's a lot of folks out there that don't have that. They don't have that deep rooted passion in the work they do, and just the purpose side of things, and being able to really hang your hat on what you're doing and knowing like this is truly my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing. And it seems like that's just like you've kind of known that your whole life. That's just something I always think is something to celebrate, because it took me a long time, to get to this place where I feel like I'm doing what my purpose is. And there was a big gap, like from college to even a few years ago, where there was a lot of uncertainty and just a lot of like, what is my purpose? What am I doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And just when people do have like that sense of this is what I'm going to do my whole life at a young age, I think that's so awesome. So shouts to you, man. I think that's so cool. I always just love to give people their flowers when they have that. I mean, my buddy, I got to give a shout out to my buddy Austin Shyman. He knew he was going to be a chiropractor in like high school or early. He's like, this is what I'm doing, and he went and did the degree, did all the school stuff, and opened like it wasn't an option. And it's something I've always like given him so much props for, because he put everything on the line to open this chiropractic, his own, like straight out the gate. Didn't want to go, like he just knew from like 15, 16 years old that that's what he was doing, and he's going to do it the rest of his life. I just think that's so awesome. So anyway, I always love to celebrate those stories, and I think it's so awesome when it does just line up like that. So anyway, that's so cool. And so getting out of the corporate world, getting into financial planning, what was that like? And did you hang your own shingle, or what was kind of the process with that?
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where definitely follow your passion, but also I think what people can do, and oftentimes people think like, well, I got to cut this and then move to something else. It's a process,
Yeah.
right? And so it's okay to say, okay, well, I have this job that I make X dollars, and that provides me the ability to continue to do the thing that I'm passionate about, maybe part-time,
Sure.
until the part-time becomes a
Right.
level that can replace the full-time, right?
Right.
So there's no harm in doing that. Obviously, it means you have to do more work, right, and more hustling. But I think that's okay. A lot, most of us spend a lot of time in the
smart
evenings
route.
just sitting down watching TV and not accomplishing things, right? So if we take that time to accomplish our passions, it doesn't really feel like work as much, and it'll
Exactly.
get you there. So
That's beautiful.
I think that's a good way. I tell a lot of people that I meet through networking, it's like, well, I have to do this, or and to be able to just jump in and go is great, and those are a lot of cool success stories. But oftentimes, if you have that income on the side to help you make your dream come alive,
Yeah.
it can actually make it more likely that it's going to happen than,
100%.
well, I got to quit doing what I'm doing because I don't have enough money to do it.
100%.
So yeah, the transition was like anything else. It's constantly learning, kind of taking the skill sets that you know, right, having an accounting and tax background, and then, you know, bringing that to a slightly different industry, but also money/finance related, just kind of learning the ins and outs. I think, you know, just to see like that I can serve people that I really want to serve. And just when I see the results and you know, sometimes it's like this tense, I don't know what to do, or I'm not sure. And then we have a conversation. It's like, hey, this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right. Or, you know, hey, there's a little bit of work to do, but we have a plan now.
Yeah.
And we can make this work, you know. Or sometimes it's like, hey, you know, here's the hard conversations we need to have. Maybe you need a part-time job. Maybe you need to do something else, or maybe you need to put off this purchase or that. But it's all, you know, here's options for you. It's your life. It's your decision-making process. Here are the things that I recommend that you do, but you have to do what, you know, puts a smile on your face, but also not steal from your future self where it's, I'm going to spend it all now, and then in the future, I'm not going to have it and create more pain for myself. So it's a discipline and it's a balance.
And that's what you did, obviously. So, I mean, what was that like for you?
Well, fortunately, I think, again, going back to my parents, and, you know, I recognize that I don't need to have all the fancy and best things. Like, so pay yourself first was my thing, right? So the first thing I did when I got my first corporate job was, hey, how much money do you want to put into your 401k? Well, what do you guys match? 6%. 6%. Then I got to raise 7, 8, 9, 10 until, you know, 2-3 years in, I was maxing out the maximum amount that the IRS allows you to do.
Nice.
And when you can do that, then, you know, you're going to be able to save a lot of money in the beginning, and it makes things a little bit easier later on.
Sure.
So I know that right now, you know, my retirement is secure. I'm not there yet, but
Sure.
I don't know that, you know, when you do what you love doing, I may never retire until the brain doesn't work anymore.
Sure.
I'm not doing people a service. So I just, you know, to me, the retirement isn't going to be stop doing what I'm doing. It's going to be continue to do what I'm doing, maybe scale back a little bit and have somebody help me and, you know, train up the next generation type of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't see myself just kind of, you know, retiring. And I tell most people, and it's kind of a lot of times like, wow, I never thought of that. Oftentimes people have, you know, the typical 9 to 5, or have this job or career, and I'm burnt out and I'm done and I'm just going to retire. And then it's, well, what are you retiring to? Not what are you retiring from?
Ooh.
And that's so important, because
Right.
if you leave a job, right, like a lot of people, your job, like you say, people, what, you know, tell me about you, or what do you do? I'm a doctor, I'm a musician, I'm a whatever. And we define ourselves by our career. And if you don't have that anymore, well, what are you?
Sure.
Right? Like, what is it that you really are? What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you want to do? And, you know, you hear people say, oh, I want to retire and I just want to play golf every day. Okay, but after about 3.5 months of playing golf every day, you're going to get bored of it.
Yep.
So what drives you? What, you know, what ignites you? What, you know, and oftentimes it's giving back, right?
Yep.
So what purpose do you have that you want to leave your legacy? How are you going to do that? To me, those are some of my favorite conversations I have with clients.
That's awesome. Amen to that. Yeah. That's beautiful. So, when did that happen? When were you kind of like all in on financial planning? This episode of the Spread the Positive podcast is brought to you by the 1200 Club supporters. Huge shout out to our good friends, Mary Fugit with Gateway Title. For all of your real estate closing needs, be sure to hit up Mary over at Gateway Title. The team at Gateway is second to none, and we highly recommend them for all of your real estate transactions, refinancing needs, and anything of the sort. Please check them out. Huge thank you to Mary. As always, we love you. Casey Broach with KK Fitness Training. Casey is a personal trainer on the Faster Way app. She has actually gone through the Faster Way herself. This app has a crazy proven track record of helping people get to their fitness goals quicker with a healthier approach, and it's changing people's lives around the country and around the world. Casey is killing it in this area. She is passionate about helping people. She's done it herself, she believes in it, and she can walk you through this entire process. So be sure to check out at KK Fitness Training on Instagram, and you can reach out to her via email, kkfitnesstraining@gmail.com. Big shout out to you, Casey. Keep killing it. We appreciate your continued support of the 1200 Club here at Spread the Positive. Thank you so much. Last but not least, this episode is brought to you by Pete Adams and Travis Swan over at Adams and Swan. Adams and Swan is your local advertising and digital marketing company that uses a results-driven approach to small and medium business revenue growth. They develop a custom strategy that is specific to your business and create dynamic advertising and digital marketing campaigns that deliver new clients and customers. Check them out at adamsandswan.com. Big shout out to my guys, Pete and Travis. Thank you for the support, guys. Means so much. Can't wait to have you in. Y'all be sure to check them out. adamsandswan.com.
Well, in 2019, I got into, I was fortunate to meet a colleague who, through networking, said, hey, you'd be a great financial advisor. And I said, well, I don't know if there's a path to do that. And he said, well, there is. Here's how you do it. Start with life insurance and then get your securities license and so on. And, kind of learn the ropes from him. Bob Ferdine's his name. He's in Northern Virginia.
Nice.
And just learned a lot from him, and probably took about a year before I said, well, this is something I can do for sure, right? You have to figure it out. And it's like, well, this is kind of what I did with my parents, right? There's a lot of things that I'm telling them, hey, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? Let's look at the things that you have. Let's make sure that your investments are aligned with your goals. Let's make sure that the risk is the right amount that you should take, and kind of dissecting the pieces of the puzzle. And then even more so, it doesn't matter how much money you have if you're, sitting on the couch bored and, you have no purpose. So building both of those pieces, I think, is the huge value that I feel I'm called to feed into my clients' lives.
Gotcha. So like 2020-ish was officially it?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So you've been going strong. When did you move to Tennessee?
We moved here in February of 21. So
Okay.
we've been here 4 years. It's just a little over 4 years.
That's crazy.
It's gone by fast.
It really has.
But the community is just amazing. So I think you were probably one of the first people I met. We were all locked down and we did some virtual Zoom meetings. And,
okay. That was it.
So yeah, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, you talk to a few people. Hey, I go to this networking group or that networking group, and next thing you know, you're meeting a whole bunch of people, and it becomes your community. And this community, I'm just so grateful for all the people that embraced me and our family, and just such nice people. Kind of like they say, the people in the South are really nice.
We try,
That's
man.
true.
We try.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. 4 years. It definitely seems like you've been around longer than that.
Oh, yeah?
And like just with the impact you made already, like you are well known, Ruthie winner, just really plugged in and went all in on just what you're doing and who you are and the name you wanted to make. And that's just something to celebrate again. So that's awesome, man. You 4 years, that is wild. You've done a lot in 4 years, man. Like, to your horn, man. And I'm gonna kind of get into another passion of yours that I've witnessed pretty much firsthand in the foster world, that you've the work that you and your wife have done in that space. Just incredible, man. Like it's so inspiring, and just your care for just the community as a whole, but definitely folks that are in a really tough spot. Do you care to share a little bit about the foster situation?
Sure. Yeah. No, we, back when we were in Virginia, we wanted to be foster parents, and then we had our own children. It was like one after the next. And so we kind of put that on the side. And when we came down here, we took the classes, and I remember the first kind of dipping our toe into the foster care system was they had respite. So basically the people that have the kids every day, once a month they can get a weekend where the kids can go and stay with somebody else. And so we had these kids stay at our house, and man, I just thought about it, and it just like really hit home. Like, these kids they just need somebody to love them.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't just try to imagine not having my mom and dad and just being at these strangers' house for a weekend that I'd never met before.
Sure.
And I just have to be okay with that. And, man, that just kind of hit hard. And so we did that for a few months, and then they said, hey, we have these two little boys. And so we had these two boys, brothers, for about 6 or 7 months. It was a success story. They ended up
Nice.
going back to their parents.
Nice.
Parents had been on drugs and cleaned themselves up and did the things kind of like you don't know what you don't know. Like, hey, if you do this, it's a bad thing. If you do that, it's a good thing.
Sure.
It's what seems like common sense, not everybody has.
For sure.
So once they kind of learn these things and, hey, you have to have a bed for your child. They can't sleep on the couch or on the floor. Oh, really? Okay. So they got done what they needed to do, which was fantastic. And then, we had another set of kids, 6 children. And so we have 4 of our own, and so we had 10 kids driving around in the big giant van, right? Because you had to have that to fit everybody in. So if anybody's like, hey, can you give me a ride here? Not if I got everybody else. There's no more seats left in the 12-passenger van.
That's wild.
But you just put your heart into these kids and you do the best you can, and then when the time comes for them to move on, it's sad, but you kind of look back and say, well, this is the impact that I had. You show them that people out there care about them. Awesome. There's so many, and it's just I encourage anybody who thinks about it, do it. I mean, again, the system's broken, so you're going to have some hiccups and bumps along the way, but you're not doing it for the government. You're not doing it for whatever. You're doing it for, one of God's children or multiple of these children that don't have anybody else, and so. It's a rewarding, but it's
super hard.
It's hard work. Yep.
Wow. Well, thank you for that, man. That takes a special level of love and care for God's children, man. Wow. That gets me every time. Do you have can you plug any resources or ways to get involved with that?
I would just reach out if you go to the DCS website, you can find out information on foster parenting. You've probably heard the commercials on the radio. It's like, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be there, right?
Yeah.
Or something. I'm paraphrasing
Sure.
the commercial was, but you don't have to be perfect. You just, they have a training course. Obviously, they want to make sure that you're equipped for, for you, this is the ordinary every day. Like, hey, kid, come on here. You're in my house, and it's,
right.
You should feel comfortable. But it's like, here's how they're not going to feel comfortable.
Sure.
And, hey, we're good people. You're going to get along with us great. And like, well, but I don't know you.
Sure.
And that's probably what the last family said, and maybe they gave up, and
sure,
that so on and so on. But
so check the website.
Yeah, check the website, do the training, and I think it was probably 6 weeks or so. You get it's totally free training. They teach you some of the experiences you might have, but just diving in and just being there for the kids. That's awesome. There's probably no substitute for that. Just the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're familiar with the tagline. I say it all the time, but bringing light to what's going right is what we do here. And obviously that aspect, actually just your approach to pretty much everything is something that's just such a great fit for STP. And another reason why it means a lot to have folks like you part of the 1200 Club and putting your name on these shows and coming in once a month to get content made and all that. But just from your perspective, what would you say is going right in the world? I know that's a loaded question, but that's what I always ask folks. And I always love to hear firsthand what you would consider going right, either on your side of things, financial planning wise, or just in general with the craziness that is today. So
sure.
What would you say?
Yeah, I think, kind of the cliche of, be the change you want to see, right? Mm-hmm. So be that person. It's like, oh, well, somebody else will do it. And I used to think that when I was in my early 20s. It's like, I'm not going to raise my hand and volunteer because somebody else wants to do it. Well, oftentimes there isn't somebody else that wants to do it. So if you stand up and you're like, I'll do it, right? Mm-hmm. One, you might inspire other people to raise their hand too and be willing to do whatever it is, right? But I think just the people, right? The people that we're surrounded by, the people here, be that person. I remember hearing somebody say, I can't remember who to attribute to, but basically, whenever you interact with somebody, try to leave them in a better place than when you first met them.
That's it.
And don't look for what you can get out of it. Look for, how do I help this person?
Amen.
And maybe down the line they'll come back and help you, or maybe someone else somewhere else will come and help you, and it'll be a result of that.
Yep.
But I think we're seeing that kind of revival. I think we're seeing, people like to knock the younger generation, but I think there's a lot of good coming out of these next generations that are coming up behind us. Kids in their 20s and teens even. I think there's a lot of move toward, we had the, look for you, get your thing, and we have such high rates of depression and sadness, and because it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about helping others. And that's what I found in my life. Whenever you're doing something for somebody else, it's going to bring you more joy than, just doing something for you.
100%.
So I think that's what's going right.
I love that. That's a beautiful answer. And you're right. What do they say? The best antidepressant is like volunteering. I think that's such a powerful thing. I think it's really studied, documented. Like if you are really in your feels, go help somebody, and
Right.
to your point, it'll switch that mindset. Like it's not about me. And yeah, things could be a lot better in my life or they could be a lot worse. And just putting someone's well-being above your own really can switch up being in a dark place. So
Amen.
if you're down and sad and all the things, man, go volunteer somewhere. Can't encourage that enough. And there's so many notable worthy causes, especially here in Middle Tennessee, but probably anywhere in your backyard if you really look for it. There's people doing the work for the people that need it the most, and that's again just what it's all about. So yeah, I love that. That's a great answer. Another signature question I always like to ask: who's someone in your life that really lives out the mission of spread the positive?
Ooh, good one. There's quite a few, but I guess I'll say a few people. Bob Williams, he runs Living Scent, which is a nonprofit here in Murfreesboro. There's a couple locations,
Sure.
right? So he's the leader of the Murfreesboro location. So
Bob
Living
Williams.
Scent, once a month, we have a luncheon at the Wilson Bank
Yep.
over on Memorial.
Yep.
And just, bringing what they call connecting Sunday to Monday, right? So taking your faith and bringing it into the workforce.
I love that.
And so Bob, I think, is one person. Another one is Reverend Gene Garcia with Adult and Teen Challenge.
Yes, shouts to Gene.
Gene's just an amazing guy. I've gotten to know him over the last probably 3.5 years
Yeah.
that we've been here. And just every time I spend time with him, I just feel inspired and invigorated and, want to do more to help other people because that's what he's dedicated his life to.
Yeah. He connected us. He's been on the pod, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Same guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing guy. There's probably
Really is.
half a dozen other
Yeah.
ones, but yeah, those are two that jump out at me.
I love that. Another kind of closing question I always like to ask, or just the grateful for. I'm pretty sure you're familiar. 4 things you're most grateful for right now. What you got?
Oh man, health, right? Family, my relationship with God, and just friends in this community. I think
That's
those are the
good.
four major ones.
That's
And of course, I should have said the number one was my wife. But
there you go. 1A.
family, right?
Yeah,
So she's in there.
yeah, for sure. Shouts to your wife. She sounds like, I don't know if I've ever met her, but she sounds like an absolute angel of a human because she's leading the charge with a lot of stuff. So shouts to Mrs. Moran for sure. But Sean, man, I just want to say thank you again. And be sure to plug away everywhere people can find you. We'll have that in the show notes, obviously. But where people can find you, how to get involved with you or get connected with you and all of that.
Yeah, probably the best place is the website. Go
Yep.
to redbarnfinancial.com, or search on the web and just, reach out. Love to have a conversation, meet with new people. That's, to me, whenever I can add value to somebody, that's what it's all about.
I love it. You heard it here, folks. redbarnfinancial.com. Sean Moran, faith-based, independent. I feel like I got your commercial almost down, but faith-based financial advisor, and just a true staple in the community here in Murfreesboro and beyond. And again, it just means so much to have folks like you part of the 1200 Club and supporting the network and all the things we got going on. And you've done that for a long time, and that's something I'm super grateful for. So thank you again, man. It really means a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. And we'll go and wrap this one up. Be sure to check out spreadthepositive.net. If you want more information on the 1200 Club and all the other cool stuff we got going on, starting a show, advertising with us, supporting the network, all the above, new spreadthepositive.net website. Super proud of that. Shout out to Carrie Morgan for her help She's amazing at what she does, and be sure to check her out, carriemorgan.com. But until next time, y'all, we'll see you then. Sean, thank you again for being on.
Absolutely. Thank you.